are you? I hope you're keeping well and you are keeping safe. My name is Marion. I am an events consultant and I am a businesswoman, and I'd like to welcome you to the Majestic Events YouTube channel where we discuss all things related to events. Now, we've just come through an amazing 8 weeks where we were looking at the What's Next series, and we had a lot of experts come and tell us what they felt the events industry and those who are affected, really affected by the pandemic, should be doing. So today we're going to do things a little bit different. We're doing a recap of the whole series. Yeah, the 8 weeks, the 7 experts. And I'm not doing it alone. Today I am doing it with those who are always behind the camera. So to start with, I have Natasha, who I call Tasha, by the way. So for this day, we are calling you Tasha.
It is fine.
And Tasha normally handles the interaction, engagement on YouTube, and she lets me know what's happening on WhatsApp. We are live, we are not, it's connection. And then we have Sanjiv, who is the owner of Aquatonic Studio, and he has been shooting every single interview I've done since I started doing this channel. So it's awesome. And Tasha is works with the La Vida event. So we're just gonna have a discussion. But guys, wasn't that an amazing?
It was.
Very
That
different,
is-
yeah.
yeah, that
Quite a series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because afternoons you finish, you're wondering, okay, I didn't know that, but I
Yeah.
should have known this.
Yeah, and to think of where it started, I will keep saying that, Sanjeev called me on the Monday before the first. He's like, we have to do something, and here I had never done a live interview, and I had sworn I would never do one. So you're not too sure how it's going to be, how you're going. I've not really handled the whole
Yeah.
moderation thing. So yeah, and then I really didn't know it was going. I think we were just sure about the first one, which was Leonard Asher.
Yes.
And I think for me, the one point that Leonard mentioned that really stood out for me is have a meeting with yourself. And I think I have really, I think every person has said that, have a meeting with yourself. And I think it's made me realize that in as much as I don't like to, I need to think,
Yeah.
have some time
You
to
have
myself,
Mm.
and figure out, because that's the only time you figure out what your next move
True,
is.
true.
How about you, Tasha? What stood out for you with Leonard?
What stood out for me was his famous proverb.
I think that was the hit with everyone. In fact, I decided, no, let me not say it so that someone else can say it. Yeah.
A living dog is better than a dead lion.
Yeah.
We all know lions have this amazing strength. When you see a lion walking, as in your first instinct is you climb something or you run. But if you see a dog, most of the time you'll be like, oh, come and you start pampering the dog. So for him to compare a dog to a lion, as in meaning that so long as you're alive, anything that is dead, they don't have much potential as compared to somebody who's actually alive. So for me, that was the biggest takeout. Yeah, as much as at times I may feel not up to the task, but I just need to remember, Tasha, speak yourself
You're
up.
alive. You're
Yeah.
alive.
Yeah,
It's better
you're
off.
impressed, yeah.
That's awesome. Sanjeev, how about you?
So, more going towards, as you said, that you need to take time out. You need to think within yourself of what's coming and what's not. And if you have come so far, then definitely you have it within you to be able to go ahead as well.
Yeah.
Mm.
Do you guys remember when he said, oh gosh, I even shut out the thought, do not get attached to your industry.
Oh yeah.
And that's very hard for a lot of us. So that was good. Said you are an entrepreneur. Remember when he was saying, wherever that idea came from, this one of events,
Yes.
You
there
can
are many
still,
others. Yeah.
pick
They
from
still
there.
exactly can pick something from that pool of ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that was the best way to start the series, because I remember talking to Tasha and I think I was saying, like, I felt like the mood, I don't know if it's a mood or the tempo or whatever, but there was just something not right about the industry. When you talk to people in the industry, people are not very optimistic.
Yeah, because of basically since 2020 events have actually happened,
Yeah.
and every new year has this thing of let's restart, let's try over, let's start something new, and things had kind of gotten back-ish to normal. So when March, the announcement came that now we are back to lockdown. Of course,
It-
now
it
the
was
mood just
March the
slumped.
26th. Does
Yeah.
anyone notice the first announcement was on March 13th?
13th.
And the second
Double the
was
number.
double that, 26th of March. I can't forget that. Now, the next expert we had was Nyabura Chege, who is a counseling psychologist. And I think for me, the biggest takeout was don't invalidate other people's feelings. Like, validate them, understand them. Like, it's okay to feel the way you're feeling. If someone is saying, oh, I'm feeling depressed, don't just say, why? Because of, and I think she also went on, gave us the signs, what to look out for, etc. What was your takeout?
Sleep.
Sleep. How important it is.
Yes, and also when she mentioned that if you have a period where you're not sleeping well, then there's something wrong. Yeah, so you just need to have a meeting with yourself and see what is this thing that's giving you grief that is not making
I
you
actually
sleep.
remember you sending me a WhatsApp because for me to figure out the questions, sometimes I can't go onto YouTube, so Tasha sends me the questions via WhatsApp. I remember you saying sleep question mark question mark question mark. Kind of like that is something that we
Because,
events
yeah.
as planner. I will speak as a planner. If I have an event, I am not sleeping.
Yeah.
It's even immaterial, So that was also a nice take home for me.
Because you see, most of the time, we usually say, I've just had 4 hours or 2 hours. Of
And we are
sleep.
proud of it.
Yeah. And someone here is saying, no, you need your 7 hours of sleep.
And you're like, from where?
Just to add it to your list of achievements. Oh, I managed 36 hours straight.
Exactly.
And you've said it. There are days when I used to do mall deco, and I kid you not, I did 36 hours, and I was like,
Yeah.
yes!
There's something to
I can
post.
do it. The last time I slept, it would treat me better.
Yeah, but then you burn out, as she
Yeah.
said.
Yeah, you burn out. Yeah. You
Yeah.
burn out.
What was there for you?
Same, and more of what she said, the understanding and being sensitive to everybody's situation emotionally. People are emotionally challenged currently. There's a lot of drain on your energy within yourself because you're trying to balance so many different situations. So as she said, that you need to give that psychological space to everybody and appreciate that everyone's facing a challenge and just be considerate.
Yeah. I really didn't even know that if you she mentioned that I asked her what the signs were. I don't know if you remember. And she's like, if someone is always isolating themselves, like for, 2 weeks or so, then that's an issue. I'm like, I need to check on people more often because you might be coming to work or you might be in your own world and you're not noticing that maybe Sanjiv or I don't know who is having a tough time. So just checking up on that person.
Yeah.
So that was a very good, I think as Sanjiv was saying, being sensitive. What are you telling people? What are you saying? Is there a better way you can say what you wanted to say? That was good. Okay. Then I found Nyambura's interview. I don't think I was prepared psychologically because it was very sober.
Yeah.
It was very sober. I mean, I just remember seeing Esther just looking and I'm like, are we on the right track? And then comes Mucha Mlingo, who is an emotional intelligence coach. And I thought it was going to be sober. And it turned out to be the other way around. And for me, what Mucha said that really just helped me was, there were 2 things I have to mention. The first one was emotions drive behavior. And emotions are your ally. Like, they're your friends. They just literally tell you there's something wrong, pay attention. It's just like an indicator, of what needs to be. And I'd never looked at it that way. And the one thing I took from her that I've been trying to do, I haven't really succeeded after the 14 days, but having time to reflect.
Yeah.
At the end of the day and asking yourself, when was I at my best self? And when was I at my worst self? And what were the circumstances going around that period? So that when you figure out what was happening around that period, then it's very easy to know, okay, then if I was at my worst self at this point, then I need to remove whatever it was. What was it
That's
for you?
true, yeah. For me, it will be emotions are friends, and also it's data. Name your feelings, name your emotions, because we have this bad habit of saying she's so emotionally attached, or she has full emotions,
I can
and
see
you
you're talking
wonder,
from your heart.
yeah, and you wonder, and what's wrong with that?
Yeah, almost as though it's a bad thing.
Yeah, it's a bad thing, yeah. So at times when you're really feeling either discouraged or sad or hurt about something, you want to have this face of, it didn't affect me, so I can go through this task without having to talk about what I've gone through. But you see, you're stacking up on that emotion, which means one day it will just blow up.
Yeah,
And
I remember.
you don't know how it's going to react at that particular
Yeah.
position. So we need to act at that place where that emotion comes, and find a way of dealing with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You remember when we were banging the tables? Huh?
Yes.
It's like, I am done. It's just like, you see, before you get to I am,
Yeah.
there is something that happened
Yes.
that you did not
that you
factor
probably
in,
just
and you just
put it under the carpet.
exactly. And so she was like, that's why you need to be smart with your emotions.
Yes.
Yeah. And Sanjiv, what was
It was,
that?
it was like, we deprive ourselves by thinking that it's wrong to accept that things are going wrong.
Yes.
She's saying it open, that look, if it's wrong, it's wrong. We ready to accept it, and then things do go wrong. There's nothing wrong
There's
with
nothing
accepting
wrong
that
with
things
it.
have gone wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because generally we want to just stay away from it, shy away from it, and keep fighting it alone. And it's good to be positive, because people will say, yeah, you must remain positive. There's nothing wrong in remaining positive, but also acknowledging that yes, things are wrong, but I'm positive about it.
Yes,
I'm positive about the
point.
situation
That's
that
true.
I am facing a challenge,
Yeah.
and I will face it with strength.
Yeah.
So you're being positive about it, but you're accepting that there's a problem.
Yeah, she also
So
went
that
to
was a good bit.
that was really good. I
Yeah.
like that take. And then she also said, and I remember Tasha making this comment on YouTube when I was watching it afterwards, that people think emotional intelligence is the skill you add to the plate.
Oh, yeah.
But emotional intelligence
It's the
is the plate that where everything lies. And a lot of us like to say, leave your emotions at the door, And yet, if emotions drive behavior, then it starts there.
Yeah.
If you're at work and people are, I mean, that was I to be honest, guys, let me just accept, right? When I was thinking of the What's Next series, and I ran my ideas a lot by Tasha, every expert that came, I did agree with. The only one I had no idea about was an emotional intelligence coach, and that was Tasha's idea. So thank you so much for that. Now, the next person who came was Shiro. Wanjiru Masheria, Shiro, my planted kitchen. And may I just tell you, I made such a blunder that day. I was waiting for her to come, and we were at the Aquatronic Studio parking lot at New Muthiga Mall. And I'm not too sure what, I think we had a shoot in the morning, and so I was a bit low on energy. So I told Esther, let's go, let's have some soda. Because for me, if I have a soda, I am good to go for hours. So I ordered. This time I said, no, Coke is not good for my health. Let me order soda. So I took soda. I took Fanta. And then in a few minutes, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm meeting with a nutrition coach. You should be drinking water. Why are you taking it? Why? And I remember the moment she walked in, I just said, we're good, we're ready to go, let's go.
I'm healthy without the sugar.
I was like, are you not thinking about the person you're about to meet? The one statement that she said that really, really stood out for me was, because she kept having these ideas of what you should eat and what not. She said, eat mostly plants most of the times. Because I think whatever she was advising, she was really not touching on meat. So I told her, hey, okay, so is there something wrong with meat? And she said, there's nothing wrong. It has its place, but there's a moderation. So eat mostly plants most of the time. And I think that has become now my goal
Mm.
because I'm not there yet.
Mm.
But if I can do that, then that'd be better. What was it for you, I know, first of all, Tasha is such a health freak. She runs all the time. Runs. And there's a time we went to Thompson Falls. Sanjiv, I'm telling you, have you been down those many steps? Okay, so I had never. Okay, and I'm not the fit type. I work out, but that is not.
That dip was a challenge.
So I remember getting a few steps, and I don't know if it was, I can't remember his name, but he's from Events House. He's like, no,
Nimit.
Marion, you cannot Nimit.
Yes,
He's like, you can't quit. You can't stop. Do you normally start a event setup and then you give up
stop
halfway?
halfway?
No, you do the event setup and you complete it. So go down. And Tasha is there, go. So we went all the way down. And then you get there, you get excited.
Yeah, took
Then now go
pictures.
up. You know, Tasha
was-
left me. I was so annoyed
I
with her.
didn't leave you.
She
you
left
had,
me.
I left. I delegated.
You abdicated your role of encouraging me to go up. So she's a health freak. She's a fitness freak.
So
she's a
she went.
nutrition-
She went to get the chopper.
She went to get the chopper to come and pick
so
me
by
up.
the time it
So
was
she-
ready, you're already up.
Yeah,
so.
she got to the top when I was like literally halfway. She was like, keep coming. So I know you enjoyed. I know you were doing like 90% of what she was saying. So please, what was your take home? If you had any, or you were already doing them?
No, for me it's avocado. I love avocado. Because she mentioned avocado is a very good brain food because whatever we eat actually supplements our brain activity.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're always eating fatty foods, then you'll end up feeling very lethargic throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're eating whole meal, other than it giving you energy, it also gives your brain more power. So when I heard about avocado,
You're like,
yes, let's even plant a tree.
okay, that's a good one. Let's plant a tree behind the house.
Yeah.
Sanjiv, I also know you are today I'm sitting with people who are fit and who are very careful about their health. And I know Sanjiv does a lot of every time I'm like, so this weekend, where are we going? Are we, going up a mountain? Are we going up Gong Hills? What are we doing? So what was your take for you?
What you mentioned, a little bit like what we do. We tend to forget our physical needs. Number one, the earlier one was about time. We want to work 36 hours, continues, non-stop.
Yeah.
But to add to that, to challenge ourselves, we want to also do it without a meal.
Yeah.
We are on machine mode.
Yes,
It's carry on, but we don't realize that we're actually challenging ourselves to a point that we will just come to a stop.
Yeah.
So taking those healthy breaks
Yeah.
to just supplement some nutrition within your system and taking even the time out is making all the difference in the long run.
What was your take when she said, when I asked her, so what should people be eating? She's like, okay. Because she was like, don't eat packaged food. I'm like, no, she said labels. Watch the labels. So I'm like, what are you saying? Are you talking about packaging? And I kid you not, when you go to the supermarket, everything is packaged.
Yeah, so the nutrition value on that is extremely
Yeah.
low.
So then she goes like, how did she put it? She said, the right food for you is the food that looks like it was when it was close to what it was when it was harvested. And she said, in other words, your grandma should be able to recognize the food that you're eating, And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
What's that?
But it's like when you say, when you're out hiking, when you're doing mountaineering, or when you're doing any activity like that which is intensive, it's always good to have natural healthy foods.
Yeah.
Because they actually supplement your energy much better.
Much better, yeah.
There's having all these processed foods or packaged snacks. You think you're filling yourself, but essentially there's hardly any energy value coming in.
Yeah. I remember one of our events friends, Shiro, and she was saying she made her entire family watch that interview. She said, sit here, whatever Shiro says, that is what we're going to do. And then she actually was giving me a testimonial, and she said her daughter was like feeling lethargic and whatever. She's like, I'm just feeling tired. And then she told her daughter, she's like, how about this week? Let's switch it up. Let's eat more natural stuff. Let's watch what we're eating and let's see if you'll be better. And she says 2 days in, her daughter, it was
Oh, that's
different.
nice,
And I was
yeah.
like, oh wow, that's
Yeah,
a good
that's
testimony.
yeah.
And I also experienced it last week. I was like, what's wrong with myself?
Mm.
But I'd had Coca-Cola. Pay me for this. I had
Once you're waiting.
what was that? Then I had done a lot of cakes, and those emotional times when you was asking your Bura, can I eat my cake? When you're feeling a bit low. And I was like, let me eat good food. And it's
Yeah.
amazing how it changed up everything. Then it got tougher when we invited, and this Esther can testify, Alvin Wangura. Money. Let's talk about our finances. I must confess, I was very, talking about your emotions, your mental space, it's a safe space. You're allowed to be, it's very touchy-wuzzy, if I can say so myself. But then when it comes to money, I was like, now, I'm not looking forward to this interview. I really am not. And I wasn't too sure what he was going to say. But he made a lot of sense, and I think that's one of the videos where we got quite a bit of feedback from people. It was like, hey, in fact, someone said, and I'll say in Swahili, huyu mtu ameongea kama watu 20. In other words, this person has talked like 20 people.
Yeah.
And I think for me, what stuck was, if you're not able to handle the enough, you're not able to pay your rent, pay your food, clothing, take care of your kids, then your human dignity is at a low.
Yeah.
And it's affected.
Yeah.
And if your human dignity is affected, then, then you cannot even think at what's next. Career? No, you're not thinking straight.
Yeah.
Because you cannot do that. So I thought, and he went on to explain like the 3 different types. You want to get to the level where you pay others, for their time as opposed to your own.
Yeah.
What was your take?
Gosh, I think I'll jump on that. Because when you get into business, we want this freedom, and most of the things we also want is financial freedom, and financial freedom is not enough because you need to still take care of your basics. Have you paid rent? Have you paid for your school fees? Have you paid for your basic needs? And truth be told, when none of those things are not sorted, even your brain, you can't think of other creative ideas for you to be able to get another business or even another income that you can bring into your family. So I'll just jump on that same one. You just need to sort out first your basics. Yeah, at times this may be harsh, but at times we are so passionate about what we do, but if it's not sorting out enough, I think it's time to do something else. As you also work, we're not saying that stop on your passion. Just get something that can be able to take care of you enough, as you also try and make sure that also your passion can be able to do the same for that.
Yeah, I remember asking him, so are you trying to tell us that we should get a job? And he's like, yes. And I'm like, excuse me?
Yeah.
You're on a channel that's targeting the events industry right now.
Yeah.
And he said, sometimes you might that is what it might take. Or if you can, get an apartment, if you have the apartment, then yes, you can get your income from there. Sanjiv, what stood out for you from that?
What he essentially pointed out, that the personal financial management is extremely important, because if you don't manage that, it's more or less the foundation of everything else. So if you start building on a poor foundation, we know things crumble.
Remember that foundation story?
So things crumble. So essentially, the idea is to ensure that your personal financial management is always
solid,
kept at the T. That point drove home.
Otherwise, nothing will be able to stand.
And being an understanding. You see, when you know that there is a problem with finances or anything, don't just try and sweep them under the carpet, because they are going to just become a mountain under the carpet until you trip over them.
And I think the most amazing thing he said, which Leonard also alluded to at the beginning, was really financial instability does not happen. It
happens.
It's a process.
It's a process. Yeah, you're where you are, and he even went on to say that the people who were affected last year were people who were only dependent on one stream of income. you know,
Mm.
and and a lot of people are saying, yeah, I'm learning how to diversify, and make that. Yeah, that was really good. It was a, yeah, it was a very serious discussion. There was no
Shakening.
laughing. I remember after we went off air, he
Money is
literally,
always serious.
yeah,
Yeah.
he literally had to take time and tell me, it's okay, Marion, it's fine, it's okay.
He saw the shock in you.
This is where you're doing an interview to also help yourself,
Yeah.
because yes, in as much as this series was mainly for the events industry, it's not about me helping them. It's us helping each other. It's us working together to figure out what are we going to do. As someone said, and I don't know who said it, but we are in the same storm. In fact, people were saying we're in the same boat, but she was saying we're not in the same boat. Some of us are in boats, others are in yachts,
Yes.
others are in ships, others are in
Canoes.
others, but we're in the same storm.
Yeah, I mean, this is-
So I think as we're trying to figure out what's next for each and every one of us, and we're all different, then as we're trying to figure out, we're working together and we're giving each other advice. So that was really good.
Yeah.
And then came the final day where we had two experts. For me, by the way, that series I remember calling, and this is where you see behind the scenes. And I think, first of all, thanks Tasha. She always checks up on me before every show, and I was very nervous because I'm like, now if they say go into employment, what am I going to do? Where am I going to start? And I remember telling Tasha, by the way, I think she was telling me, you were telling me that you're going to Java because there's no power. And I was just like, if I continue talking to you, I'm going to cry. And I'm going for this interview, and I really don't I want to be on point. And I'm not too sure what's going to come out of it. Because guess what, guys? The advice that these experts give or gave is literally what I am taking in and also want to implement to better my life. It's not just about creating content. It's about, is this working for you?
being
Yeah,
better.
bettering myself. So I'm like, hey, let's not talk. And Tasha was trying to say, what's the worst that can happen if you get employment? You would stop your channel, you would stop this. And I'm like, let's stop it, clap it right here. And that was really interesting. And it's only when I got to Aquatronic Studios when I was like, oh, she was trying to tell me she's going to Java so that she can do her job for the channel, for the show, which we're about to be having right now. So just to say how nervous I was. Yeah. What was your highlight with Doris?
Ha.
The career coach.
Yes. So when I think for entrepreneurs, when it's time to go back to employment, we are super worried whether we are employable. And the one thing she said was, you're a gold dust to an employer, because you've run this business for 5-10 years. You've done HR, you've done accounts, you've cleaned your office at some point, you've made coffee for your clients, you have dealt with pressure as you're walking to your event space, you've slept. You haven't slept for 36 hours.
You're done those marathons.
You've done the marathons, yeah.
So if you package all that,
You're a lot of value.
Yeah, you are super valuable to an employer right now. Yeah, so for me, gold dust.
Gold dust.
Yeah, gold dust.
Sanjiv, what was your highlight?
Yeah, well, it's that if you do want to make a shift, it's obviously a challenge, because now you're in that very comfort zone, and trying to change tracks from A to B can be very, very difficult. But what she put together was that yes, you can. So and if you are an entrepreneur, you are the first person who has the willpower to be able to change and do things. It's people who don't have that mindset who find it challenging. So you're one of the few people who can actually make change happen, because you have the will and understanding to take things head on and go for them.
Yeah, again, gold dust.
Yeah.
Remember when she said you're not a sellout?
Yeah, you're not.
So if it's a challenge, take it on.
Yeah.
Just go for it.
Take it on and just do it. And I think for me, what she said that really stood out for me is that analogy. And she said, we're in this ocean. We're in this ocean. and all of us are riding whatever vessels we are riding, as we just said, canoe, boat, ship, whatever. So assume yours is not working. What you're literally doing, if you're considering going back to employment, is you're just going back to the shore to fix your net or your boat or something there for a while,
And then come back.
and then come back.
Yeah.
So there's absolutely nothing wrong.
Yeah.
And I think that was very encouraging, to hear, because when we put out the poster, that's the first poster I have really hesitated to post in the events WhatsApp group, EOK and Wedding Industry Network. I was very nervous because I was like, will they think that I'm trying to tell people get out of the industry and get a job? So I was,
Conflicted.
but she
It
came
was
out
like
really
they'll come back and say, Marion, you go take a job elsewhere.
You go take a job. Yeah, if you
Leave
know
us-
what,
leave us,
Us
yeah.
guys are fine.
yeah, us guys are fine.
Yeah.
Like I was really, really nervous.
The challenge was on your table.
This interview was really,
Like now from event organization, you have changed to moderation.
I know. Yes,
Yeah.
So then came Cindy,
A ball of
the
energy.
ball of energy powerhouse, and wow, that was just.
Yeah, she had too much energy.
She had a lot of energy, and I remember her saying, "If you're a lady, if you're black, if you're African, and you're young, you have so many options."
Yeah, she's-
I think I was just more intrigued by what she's achieved in such a short span of time. And she's seen, not from trying to get a job, not being able, and she's saying, create a table
Yeah.
where you can, instead of trying to fit in other people's tables,
Make your own table.
make your own table, and
Invite some people.
and invite other people to sit in. What was your highlight from Cindy?
My highlight was widen your network. Most of the time we focus on just knowing Sanjiv does video, Marion is a planner, Shiro does decor, and that's where it ends. But
And I remember telling her, I was so proud. Now we are collaborating, we're together, we're
Yeah.
always meeting, and then
yes, but you see, there are also other industries. There's financial industry, there's advertising. There's so much out there, and you still need to also put in your foot in each of these, because you never know when you probably need a contact there, or probably even need a job there. You don't know, because you see, also your network are the people who give you jobs, are the ones who refer you to contracts.
yeah.
So if you're just limited to just one thing, then you're also limiting your chances of getting a contract. But if you're widening, then it means that you're also widening your chances.
And it's not only that, not only are you getting contracts or jobs, you're also getting ideas, you're also getting knowledge. They're also sharing with you what they've been through, their experiences that you can actually tap into and work on yourself. So I think that was really, so widen your network. That was a good one. Sanjiv, what was
More of the network, more of the teamwork, understanding teamwork in the real sense.
Yeah.
Being able to do different things and being able to fit in and work together with everyone.
Yeah.
So that's the whole idea. So that way you energize even better.
Yeah, because she said when she was talking about providing value, and she was saying value will never run out of fashion.
Yeah.
And she said when she figured out what she wanted to do, she then she didn't go and give at we are an NGO. She's like, we're a small local, and this is what we are offering. Can we partner? And it's through the networks and reaching out and teamwork that they were able to partner. So one of their partners gave them space. And the space had internet, electricity. Another partner had the network of all these
People to reach
NGOs
out.
that dealt with
Yeah.
the area of impact that she wanted. So again, it's the teamwork, and that was really good.
Yeah.
Was there anything else that stood out from you from her?
Energy.
Expression.
Yeah, she was quite a motivation. I think just hearing her speak, then also just seeing what she's accomplished at her age, it just
Makes you wonder.
question,
What was I doing?
but also it's a motivation that people out there are not sleeping. People out there are working and they are doing something with their lives. So yes, go with emotions, but also find time to also just get out of that and try and see what can I do with what I have.
I mean, for me it was, I, I think the biggest highlight for me was what happened after the the interview when we were done. First of all, there was a lot of joy. I am not too sure why. I was like, yes, we finished the series, because we've come through a lot, and then I'll ask you guys what your experience was like. But I got a call from someone in the industry, and this is someone who also moderates another show. And actually, I don't think I asked her if I could say it, and this was Eunice from Samantha's Bridal, and she's like, she called immediately after, and I was like, okay, I'm still talking with Sanjiv, you're still, can I call you back afterwards? And so she said yes. So I called on my way home, and she spent 37 minutes, I count 37 minutes
That's a
telling
show.
me how that show was. This was for me. This was for me. Could you please send me Doris's email?
Yeah.
Could you? And it was just like, when Doris was speaking, I was like, yeah, I need to get back into employment. And, just making it sound like it's okay. And then when Cindy, she's like, no, I can do this. And she was like, it's just, she was also a ball of energy. And now she was just talking about all her ideas. I was like, if this is what these interviews can do to one person, then it's worth it.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
it's totally worth it. So it was amazing having all these experts on. And I think yes, I was just saying just now how excited we all were. I saw Esther giving every person, what it's called, high five, and everyone. And, some of us were hugging and were excited. And what has the whole experience doing live shows like this, you being involved in, what was your take home? Not take home, but what was the experience like for you? I mean, number one, it's like you're my teacher. So what was the experience like for you? Like, what were the emotions that were going through for you as Tasha?
Other than what I've said, I think it's being present. Most of the time when we get these Zoom invitations, you're listening, but you're also doing something else. But for this one, because now I said, I'll help with the questions. So it needed me to be present. And it also helped me appreciate the value of being present at a particular moment. Because most of the times we believe that multitasking helps us to achieve a lot, but it really doesn't. You end up doing things half, and then at the end of the day, you'll think like I've done. But if you look back and try and remember, like what Mucha said, look back to your day and try and remember when were you at your best and when were you at your worst. But if you're multitasking, I don't think you'll be able to figure that out. But if you're present at that particular moment, it will make sense for you to look back at your day and see when was I happiest or when was I the saddest. So for me, it's just made me appreciate the value of being present. Yeah.
Sanjiv, you're handling the tech side, the technical side, and and every time before, most of the times we'd have come from another shoot, and even if it wasn't, then you see the cameras, the screen is turned on, and you're waiting for 5 minutes to go, 3 minutes on. How was it for you? I know you've had this experience for a while. How was this working on the series for you?
It's pretty interesting because it was like, we were looking at learning from every spectrum of life. So hosting all those guests was quite a learning experience also for us.
Yeah.
On the tech side also, it was great because you kept tinkering with new ideas. So no harm.
Yeah.
Perfectly nice.
Yeah, I remember the first time we tried to figure out, where is the video? Remember that?
Yeah. No, the chat.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was where is the chat?
The chat was where's it gone?
Like, okay, I don't know. And then you go online and you're trying to figure out, okay, so this
Takes
like,
24 hours.
Okay, 24 hours.
Yeah.
And then at some point, I don't know if it was after the third or the fourth, it was there, and I remember asking you, Sanjiv, what did you do?
Yeah, just comes back on after 24 hours.
Yeah, and so that was really good. I think for me was live is not easy, and I think Esther kept telling me that I perform better in live because at that point you can't make a mistake, or if you do, it has to be very minimal and you figure out how to move on. So I think that for me was the big take home. But in all, it was a wonderful experience. Even when we had, do you remember the time I don't know which interview it was, but the live stream,
Oh,
no one could figure out
what
what the
happened.
issue, because the internet was on, you were saying it was
Yeah.
full.
Yeah.
And it just
It
jammed,
did,
and you're
it
like,
did.
so this is where teamwork works. So one of us has to make sure that everything is running behind the scenes. That's why Esther is not at the front today. And she's taking Sanjeev's position. But I don't know how these guys colluded. And I'm talking about Sanjiv, Tasha, and Esther. I was the only one who didn't know that the interview with Shiro of My Planted Kitchen was not live. I was just like, there's something wrong. There are no questions coming. But what's going on? And
Something
the
is
whole
cooking.
studio was quiet. Nothing was happening. I could notice one of the crew members, Edmund, like, he's not smiling. There's something here. But I couldn't figure out what it was. And then when we ended, I was like, okay, cool. And they're like, we were not live. I'm like,
But the beauty of technology, you still got to watch it.
And we still
after.
got to watch it after. And I think the thing is, what I've appreciated about this entire series is that we've become such a team. And so they knew exactly what I needed. They knew if Marion knows this thing is not live, she will
The questions will
panic,
stop.
and the questions will stop. We'll have to start again, stop again. So they allowed me to get into my element and just move as though nothing happened. And I think the biggest lesson for me from there was have the right team with you. And then it's the internet, technology. I mean, it just happens. You don't have to be perfect, and you just move on. So I was really, really excited about it. So I'm really happy. Thank you so much. Thank you, Esther, from behind the camera. Thank you, Edmond, from behind the camera, and the other team crew members from Aquatronic Studio. Tasha, thank you so much. We will attempt to do another live one soon.
Now we're better.
Now we
Yeah,
are
now we're
better.
better.
But I think also what I didn't notice was it's actually takes up a lot of energy to do lives. And so we'll make sure that now, because you plan for one, do the poster, finish the interview, and then after that I'm calling Esther, call the
Another
other
one.
person, and you're like, wow, you're not even planning. It's just like a conveyor belt. So, but we had to do that because of the environment that we found ourselves in, being locked up and everything. So that's why we did it. But now we'll be doing a live session every after every month, and we hope to bring in experts and discuss a hot topic and have a panel discussion that will also benefit you, the events person. And if you're transitioning out, remember, into employment or into business, we'll also make sure that we discuss topics that also affect you. So thanks, guys. Thank you, Sanjiv. We are looking
Thank you,
forward to the
Marion.
next series.
Yeah.
It's gonna be awesome.
All right.
All right. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much, guys.
Great.
Take care. We'll see you next time in the new series.